Hi, I'm Renee, and welcome to Classical Commentary, talking all matters music and about the music that matters. A blazing, technically flawless trumpeter from Cuba, Arturo Sandoval has been dazzling audiences worldwide with his supercharged tone and bop-flavored flurries way up in the trumpet's highest register. A master of the trumpet and a musician of epic proportions, Arturo Sandoval is the protege of the legendary jazz trumpeter Dizzy Gillespie and has been recording for over 30 years. Arturo Sandoval has won 10 Grammy Awards, an Emmy Award, and has been nominated for 12 Grammys in several categories. On today's program, joining us is Cuban-American trumpet legend Arturo Sandoval. Mr. Sandoval, thank you so much for joining us today on Classical Commentary. On a personal note, I just wanted to say that my very first memory of you was watching your Grammy Awards performance in the 90s. You were playing Cherokee with the All-Stars. I was simply mesmerized, and that particular memory has stayed with me. So all of this to say that it is a special honor to have you as part of our program today.
You were very young that time, no?
I was little, but it was very mesmerizing all the same. So you have been touring this year. How has it been to revert to live tours, live concerts again, to be on the road?
Yeah, I've been touring for the last 60 years.
But we had a little break, and now we're back again. How does it feel to be back?
Yeah, that little break was in terms of touring out, but I was working very hard here from home.
Okay.
Pandemic, horrible time, but
of course.
I was lucky that I came out with the idea to use that time to write new music and do videos and do things to keep the contact with the audience and with the people follow my music, and for me that was very productive time.
A productive time. That's excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. So I'm sure that I'm not telling you anything that you haven't heard before. You're not simply a trumpet virtuoso. You possess this rare ability to elevate the art of trumpet playing into almost a language of its own. You're kind of like an artistic puppet master that makes the trumpet speak in a language that we can all understand. Why did you choose the trumpet, and when did you first realize that you had this special gift?
Oh, I didn't realize yet that I have a special gift, But the only thing I can tell you is when I was like 10 years old, I joined a group of kids that came to a teacher who started teaching us to read music and some kind of theory of music, and in terms of forming like a marching band in a village where I grew up. I grew up in a village, small village in the countryside of the island of Cuba. And they gave me several instruments to try. And finally, I really started to look to the trumpet, and I talked to the teacher and I said, Maestro, I think I made my decision. I would love to go to the trumpet. He said, I'm so sorry, we got a couple of trumpets we gave away already. We don't have any more left. And I said, okay, what about if I find a trumpet? You teach me something that you let me play in the band? He said, yes, I do. And then my aunt bought me a little trumpet, when I was 10.
So it's your aunt that bought the trumpet.
Yeah.
Okay, and the rest is history.
The rest is a hardworking, discipline, commitment, and passion, practicing for improving, to learn, and it's always room for learning, and I've been all my life hungry for information and for getting new things into my own playing, you know.
That's what we need as artists for sure. Now you are not just a trumpet player. You play many different instruments. You play trumpet, flugelhorn. You compose. You sing. You play piano, timbales. You scat, and you're fluent in Afro-Cuban and classical genres, jazz genres. What can't you do? But how have you been able to devote enough attention to each instrument and genre?
Oh, you have to multiply your time, you know. If you want to play several instruments, you have to practice a lot more. And but my main instrument is trumpet. But I use the piano most of the time because from the piano I do my arrangement, my composition, my writing scores for movies and all those things. It came from the piano, you know. Yeah, piano. I always say the piano is the best music teacher. Is the best music teacher because when you get familiar with the piano, you even start to understand the music much better.
I completely agree.
Doesn't matter which is your main instrument, you know, but the piano gives you a complete different concept of appreciation of music, and then you see everything completely different when you get familiar with the piano.
Yes, I completely agree with you. You have clearly many different talents. However, you principally play the trumpet. You also play the flugelhorn. Would you be able to briefly describe the difference between these instruments?
Flugelhorn is a close family of the trumpet, but it's a different tool. You know, it's a lot larger. You know, in terms of the size of the bore and the bell, everything is bigger. And the concept of blowing the flugelhorn is a lot more mellow, is a more darker sound, and you have to approach to play that instrument in that matter because you cannot play it in the same way you play the trumpet.
Okay, so a trumpet has a brighter sound. A flugelhorn is more mellow.
Exactly.
Okay. And I also wanted to ask you about the bent trumpet. So the bell of that trumpet faces 45 degrees
Yeah,
upwards. It was actually a result of an accident, right?
exactly. Yeah, that was the trumpet that Dizzy Gillespie used for most of his career, you know, and it was an accident. He was playing in the house that was he was celebrating his wife's birthday, and he put the trumpet on top of the piano. Somebody pushed the trumpet fell, and when he picked it up from the floor, the bell was up like this. But the thing is, the ceiling of the house was a kind of low, and then when he tried it, he heard the sound like bouncing from the ceiling, and he heard the trumpet is much better, and then he said, "Wow, my next home gonna be like this." But I want to share with you something funny that when people ask Dizzy Gillespie why he got his trumpet with the bell like this, he said, "You know, I was playing in a private party for the mafia, you know, and then I was playing there, and the first table was very close to the bell of the horn, and the guy say, you know what? Point that trumpet in a different direction because that bothered me so much, you know." And then he said, "What can I do?" And then he keep playing. And then the guy jumped to the stage, took his trumpet out of his hand, and then pulled the bell like this and give it back to him and say, "Okay, keep playing now."
Wow.
That's a funny joke. It didn't make about that, but that was the truth. That was the truth.
Well, as a result of what happened, a new trumpet was indirectly created, and it's a great thing that Mr. Gillespie didn't just throw it away. He tried it, and he found a new sound that he liked, and
Yeah.
you also liked it. He gave you a similar trumpet to play.
Give me one of his own one. A year after we met in May '77, and then I came to the U.S. very first time ever in June of '78, and then I went to his house as well, and he gave me one of his songs on that occasion.
Wow, what an honor. Dizzy Gillespie was the one who introduced Afro-Cuban rhythms into American jazz, right, in the 40s, and that was more or less what brought him to Cuba, and also how you met. Can you share a little bit about your initial meetings?
The whole movement started by three different musicians. Mario Bauza, he was a musical director of Chick Webb, Fletcher Henderson, Cat Calloway, all those things. He was a Cuban musician, great musician. And when DC came to New York, Mario was like his godfather, he supported him a lot and gave him a lot of opportunities. And in 1946, Mario went back to Cuba for a vacation. And then when he come back from Cuba, he brought with him a percussionist by the name of Chano Bosso. Then he introduced Chano to DC, and there was a very beginning of what they call it Afro-Cuban jazz. That was in 1946. And DC came to Cuba for the very first time in May of '77.
77, yes. And
Yeah.
that was when you first.
That was the beginning of what they call Afro-Cuban jazz. And later on, somebody, I don't know, I never understood that, and I never support that change, because somebody started calling that style Latin jazz. I never been a fan of that name because the people who created, they call it Afro-Cuban jazz.
Mhm.
Why and when, I have no idea why somebody changed the title of the style without their permission. You know what I mean? I never understood that, and I never will, of course.
Then later, you met Dizzy, and
We met in Cuba. We met in Havana,
yes,
May '77. Yes, and I'm gonna tell you, because of him, or he was instrumental. He really helped us a lot, because when he come back, I'm gonna share with you the story. When he come back to New York, '77, he started talking to everybody about that band that he heard in Cuba. Now,
Irakere.
yes,
Yes,
and
okay.
one day we were during the rehearsal in Havana, and a gentleman came to the rehearsal. We couldn't recognize him. He sit down there with a couple of other people, and he watched the whole rehearsal. When we finished, he came to us, introduced himself, and happened to be Bruce Rumble. He was the president of CBS Record for many, many, many years. Rest in peace. And then he introduced himself through a translator, of course. And then he said, "I'm here because Dizzy Gillespie didn't stop talking about this band, and I want to be sure that he was right what he said about." And then he said, "From here, I got already an appointment of a meeting with the Minister of Culture of Cuba to sign your band for 3 years." And then he signed us on CBS. And we started '78, '79, and '80, we were CBS artists. And then a few months later, this same gentleman put us on the plane, and we landed in LaGuardia. Listen to this, because this is difficult to believe it, but we landed in LaGuardia in mid-afternoon. They put us on a little bus, and they us straight to the sound check at Carnegie Hall to play that night, the first day ever in the U.S. We played part of the Newport Jazz Festival that was celebrating that year in New York. And then we played the second half of the program, and the first half was two piano trios, Mary Lou Williams and Bill Evans trio. And then we played the second half. by the end, the last tune, Maynard Ferguson and Stan Getz jumped to the stage and played with us the last tune. That was the very first day ever. And CBS make a live recording of that concert, and that was our first ride. Everything everything happened the very first day in the US ever.
Your very first memory of New York is
I
straight to
didn't.
Carnegie Hall.
That was like a beyond a dream, you know.
Of course, of course. So, over the course of your life, you have won 10 Grammy Awards, and you're also the winner of an Emmy Award. In the year 2000, your life story was made into a movie for Love or Country starring Andy Garcia. I think that we have a short movie clip of you and...
Gracias. What the hell's my driver doing playing the trumpet?
The driver?
Give me my horn.
For Love or Country, that's the name of this film. It was made in 2000. What an absolutely beautiful movie and moving story. So you became a naturalized American citizen in 1998, and 2 years later you were having a movie made about your life. Were you on set during its production?
Yes, all the time, because they hired me to write the score, but also to be like advisor or something to be around during the shooting to be sure that the story have something to do with my life, you know, that was accurate, you know. And
So you would say then that it was an accurate portrayal of your life story?
it was, of course, and that they hired me for that job, you know, to be sure that everything was according to the truth.
Yes, yes. Yeah, a fantastic movie for Love or Country. I really enjoyed watching that film. Playing, you count Dizzy Gillespie as a main mentor in your life, and your playing, it does bear the stamp of your own style, but is there a particular technique or element of trumpet playing that you would say you learned from Dizzy Gillespie or that Dizzy Gillespie taught you?
You know what? After that, after 78, I stopped playing with him until he passed away in January 6, 93. And I learned, you know, so much from him. But it wasn't like a direct or personal trumpet lesson. I learned from him the most important thing is passion and love for music, you know. His desire to learn always and to share his knowledge and experience with everybody around him. And he was a beautiful human being, besides to be a genius, because he was one of the main inventor of bebop, which is the most intricate style of music ever, and very demanding. Is unbelievable how prepared you have to be in terms of develop your skill to understand and be able to play bebop music, because it's so quick, you know, and so many chord changes go so fast that you have to be very alert, very, you know, start man. You have to be sharp, concentrating what you do it to be able to do it. Besides, you must control your instrument. You must be under control with your tool.
Wow. What a fantastic experience. I heard that he was very generous with his knowledge. So
It was an
for him to
amazing
take you
amazing.
under his wing, wow, what an experience. So you first arrived in America in 1990. There are many freedoms in North America that we can easily take for granted. The ability to listen to any type of music that we want being one of them. But music was a gift and a privilege that you had to fight for. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Unfortunately, in my time in Cuba, we have a serious problem because my love for jazz music or something that wasn't well received by the Cuban dictatorship, because they call jazz music the music of the imperialists, of the Yankee imperialists, and that was so wrong, and so obtuse mentality, and when I get to the U.S., finally, I was so free to express myself all the way without limitation, without asking permission to play this kind of thing or the other thing. That was horrible time, and my life changed 100% completely, and I started to enjoy freedom in general, which is I consider that the very most important word in any dictionary, in any language, the word freedom, because I always said that no freedom, no life. And when you feel free, it's up to you what you're going to do with your life and how you're going to develop your own ability or your career or something, and no, nothing or nobody going to stop you or put some in kind of impediment to create or to do your thing.
Of course. Am I correct that the first record that you produced on arriving in the U.S. was called Flight to Freedom?
That's correct. That's a lot of things to the reality,
Sure, of course. What effect did that have, or what changes did you notice in your playing, being in a free environment all of a sudden, where you were just free to do as you wish?
Because I have a lot more opportunities to play a lot more concerts and to pick and choose musicians, a lot of musicians over here in the U.S., and also to have the opportunity to collaborate and play with a lot of musicians that I'm singers and composer and a variety of things that I've been doing for the last 33 years that are really opened a complete new horizon for my career.
Of course. How inspiring to have everything come full circle in your life. And then in 2013, you were awarded a presidential medal, the Medal of Freedom, by Barack Obama. What was that moment like for you?
You know what? I want to share with you something that is extremely amazing for me and almost unbelievable. It's another three jazz musicians that got that medal: Count Basie, Duke Ellington, and Ella Fitzgerald.
Wow.
For me to be in that company, oh my goodness, it's beyond my imagination. It's beyond my comprehension. But I've been, it's a huge honor for me.
That's it.
Especially because of the name of the medal, Presidential Medal of Freedom. That means a lot. That means a lot to me.
It brought Dizzy Gillespie to Cuba. It brought the two of you together. It carried the threat of, imprisonment or kind of hindering your progress. But music, the very music that you loved, it liberated you, and then things came full circle, and you received this medal. I think that's an absolutely beautiful story.
even when I was in the obligatory military service for 3 years,
Yes.
I was listening to small radio, the Voice of America. It got a jazz hour. That was the name of the program, Jazz Hour, every single day. And I was listening to that. And then they put me there 3.5 months in jail because I was listening to the radio in the U.S.
Wow. Wow. There are so many little things that we can take for granted here. You know, you fought for something precious, and as a result, the world has benefited from your gifts. You continue to share so much fantastic music with the world as you are on this tour of yours. But one of the outstanding and admirable things is your commitment to music education. You are a university professor, as I understand. However, you have also founded the Arturo Sandoval Institute. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, since I get in the U.S., I start teaching in a university in Miami, Florida International University, and I retired from there. I teach there for 20 years, and then when we moved to Los Angeles, I start teaching. The first year we moved here in the USC, and then I couldn't continue there because I have to travel so much, and I wasn't able to do it. I made a commitment to really do it every week, you know. But I still teaching. Yeah, people come here to my house very often, you know, from all over. People from outside the country to come here and take lessons, and I really love that, you know, share my experience and my thing, you know. I practically I am like a kind of self-taught, you know, because I didn't have the proper musical education, you know. I have to quit the school when I was in the 5th grade, no more school, because I started working to help my family because we were extremely poor, and I started working to help my family.
I understand.
And music saved my life and the life of our family as well, because of the music. I owe everything to the music.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Now, is it just for trumpet, or is it are other instrumentalists welcome?
Mainly trumpet, private lesson, you know, direct private lesson.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, what a wonderful thing. That's the true mark of an artist to give back, however they can.
I want to put the camera because I want you to see this here too, you know.
Oh, on your shirt. Okay, so we have...
My man. And you see it there in the back as well, you know, and this picture there, over here, this Clark Terry, Woody Shaw, Maurice Andre, you know, a bunch of heroes, you know.
Wow. Fantastic. Always looking over your shoulder. Mr. Sandoval, this has been a truly inspirational interview. I think that you are one of the true living testaments to the American dream. Thank you so much for joining us on Classical Commentary. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Thanks so much for watching this edition of Classical Commentary. We'll see you next time, and remember, great music makes a great day. Sing it.